An explanation of Ovid using fruit. This morning I've invited John around from our group. Hello, John. And together we're going to demonstrate some important ideas about Ovid using, as I said, fruit. And the first piece of fruit, John, if you have a look at that. That's right, it's a satsuma, true. But if I put this next to it, yeah, that's right, yes, very good, John. So that's now a small orange, and this is a large orange. So already we have kind of sequencing going on there. But then if I place this third orange in the sequence, then this one can no longer be large. Yes, it is a grapefruit, John, but I couldn't get a larger orange. So for the moment that is a large orange. The large orange, that now is the intermediate orange, and that's the small one. Yeah, well, if it was a large grapefruit, but it isn't, you see, because now I can introduce this one to the sequence, and each time you add another piece of fruit to the sequence, everything in front changes. So, I mean, this is really a large grapefruit, and that's the small one. And that was originally a large orange, and if we want to make it large again, there's something we can do, John, with the sequencing, and I wondered if you'd like to just think about that for a moment. I mean, how could we resequence this so that our original large orange becomes large again? Well, they're all citrus, you see, so you can have these in because they're citrusy. No, not really, can't do that. Something similar though. Good, very good, Jonathan. Yeah, there we are. So if we resequence like this and move the grapefruit to the front and bring the oranges here, in our new sequence we now have a large orange again. And that's one of the beauties of it. You see him resequencing things to bring about changes in our perceptions. Okay, so we've got 4 pieces of fruit at the moment, and I reach into my bag here and produce my next piece of fruit, which is really, yes it is, it's a pomegranate, and that shouldn't be there because that's from quite another story. Although I do have something to say about that pomegranate. Picture, if you will, Jonathan, my journey to the tutorial that Saturday, and I needed to buy 2 more pieces of fruit from Morrison's. Picture, if you will, my entry into Morrison's on a busy Saturday morning, and the first thing I see is not a pomegranate, but I see a kind of table laid out called an ice table, and on it we have vegetables in bunches, and from it we have a kind of steam rising. It's very unusual, very peculiar, because what Morrison's are doing now is they're laying out their best vegetables in gathered together on ice as though it was fish. Yes, I would go in if I was you, yeah, because you do live close by, but that's really just a little digression or ekphrasis on that day. But we'll keep pomegranate around here because it's of interest, but as I say, really another story. Let's stay with citrusy things and bring in now 2 lemons. Now we can have the 2 lemons there because, correct, they're citrusy. Right, so we have our grapefruit, our oranges, and our 2 lemons. There is another reason why I've introduced the lemons. Well, it's to do with making intertextual reference, really, to a rhyme that I'm foreshadowing that famous rhyme about oranges and lemons. Do you know the one I mean? Yes, that's right. Shall we sing it together? Okay, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Oranges and lemons and the bells of St. Clement's. Yes, you're fairly quiet, Jonathan, there with your singing, but never mind. So now we have like a reference to, and that's another thing I think that we can say we need to be alert to in Ovid, that there's plenty going on normally, not just the obvious fruit. Yeah. And finally in our sequence, I've brought this in today. Yes, indeed. It's a coconut. Very good, well spotted. And I use coconuts, this one's from the Ivory Coast, because they're funny. They are weapons in another context, but if we introduce them into the context of Ovid and storytelling, I think we can see here the ancient and the modern. If you will, if you bear with me, the smooth fruit are the original stories, and the hairy coconut is, in a sense, it's me. It's the modern reader, and it's the modern reader's appreciation that despite all this smoothness that we have with Ovid, it's really a lot messier, a lot hairier than we've been led to believe. Yeah? The classical tradition exists and is useful, but it isn't quite as smooth as this. There's no kind of nice linearity to it. It's more like this. It's more like a coconut. And I think we need to just make sure we have this coconut exactly where we want it. What do you think, Jonathan? Here? A little further away? What about that? One more? Okay, there we are. And what have we created? Very well done. We now have a critical distance between the modern reader and the original stories. And if we can take both of these into account, then we learn more about ourselves today and more about the stories as they were in their original context. So, to recap, we can use pieces of fruit to give examples, draw attention to things that are going on in Ovid's Metamorphoses. And Jonathan, I'd like to thank you today for being such an engaging and friendly character, and I look forward to seeing you in due course again, back in tutorial. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.